Welcome to episode 484 of AI Brief. Today we are bringing you a packed deep dive into the absolute bleeding edge of the industry. We're looking at OpenAI breaking completely new ground with Images 2.0.
We will also examine meta-logging employee keystrokes to train their next-generation agents, and how Google is pushing deep research to the absolute maximum.
Then we have a rapid-fire roundup of everything else happening in AI today, and we will finish with the top trending productivity tools. Moving right into our new updates, we are looking at a major shift in media generation.
Right, so to give you some context here, for the better part of a year, the absolute top position on the Arena AI text-to-image leaderboard belonged to Google's Nano Banana 2.
Yeah. And that model dominated mostly because it just had this great aesthetic flair.
Exactly. Just look good.
Yeah.
But that dominance is officially over. OpenAI just rolled out ChatGPT Images 2.0, and it took the #1 spot by a massive margin. I mean, it swept every single category.
And the technical specifications are just staggering. Like, first of all, Images 2.0 outputs in native 2K resolution.
Which is incredibly sharp for a raw generation.
Right. And they can produce up to 8 distinct images simultaneously. Plus, the aspect ratios it handles are wild. It ranges from a 3:1 ultra-wide format.
Oh, which you would use for, like, massive digital billboard displays.
Exactly, all the way down to a 1:3 tall format, which is perfect to fill modern mobile screens. And it finally cracks the code on multilingual text rendering.
Oh, wow. So no more that weird gibberish when you ask for a sign in French or Japanese.
Yeah, exactly. But, the resolution and the text, that is not even the real story here. The real breakthrough is the actual behavior of the model.
Right, because it actually plans out the image before it generates a single pixel. It searches the web for references, drafts a concept, and then, and this is the crazy part, it self-checks for anatomical or structural errors before showing you the final result.
And that behavioral shift completely changes the mechanics of how we generate media.
Yeah.
We are moving away from that old prompt and pray mechanism into a true agentic workflow.
Yeah, previously, models just statistically predicted pixel patterns. If you wanted a specific layout, you had to painstakingly engineer your text prompt, adding, dozens of modifier words, and just hope the model understood the spatial relationship.
You just have to cross your fingers.
Right. But Images 2.0 possesses actual reasoning capabilities. It solves those complex text and spatial issues autonomously.
I look at it this way. Think about the difference between using a standard point-and-shoot camera versus hiring an actual art director.
Okay, I like that analogy.
With a standard camera, you point, you click, and you just pray the lighting works out. That is how the older models functioned. But Images 2.0 acts like that art director. It takes your creative brief, it actually researches the visual context online to understand what you mean, sketches out a plan, reviews the drafts to make sure a person does not have 6 fingers or a misspelled t-shirt.
Which happens way too often.
Right. And only then does it present you with the finished concept.
And that level of autonomy is exactly why Sam Altman explicitly said this leap is comparable to going from GPT-3 to GPT-5 all at once. The model is no longer just executing a simple command. It is actively managing a creative process.
And, moving from an AI that generates pixels to an AI that learns how humans actually manage a workflow at their computers, that brings us to our next major development.
Yeah, because if an AI needs to learn how to plan and execute complex workflows, where does it get that training data? Well, it turns out Meta is finding out by literally watching how their human employees work.
This is the Model Capability Initiative, right? The MCI.
Yes, internally known as MCI. They're recording screenshots, keystrokes, and mouse activity directly on the work laptops of their United States employees.
And this capture scope is heavily targeting their developers, right?
Exactly. It is logging their activity within applications like VS Code, Meta's internal AI assistant MetaMaid, Google Chat, and even Gmail.
But wait, Business Insider just leaked the internal memo about this, right?
They did. And when employees raised concerns about this massive level of tracking, the chief technology officer, Andrew Bosworth, reportedly responded by stating there is absolutely no option to opt out.
Wow. And the timing of this is what makes it so notable from a business mechanics perspective. Approximately 8,000 Meta staffers are scheduled to exit the company in a restructuring event on May 20.
Yeah, and the MCI tracking begins logging their workflows exactly 1 month before their end date.
I mean, imagine being a developer in that scenario. You have 30 days left until your job is eliminated. And for those 30 days, every single mouse click, every code switch, and every chat message you send is being recorded to teach an AI how to replicate the exact workflow you are about to leave behind.
It is intense.
It is. Human workers are essentially functioning as temporary training wheels for their digital replacements. Historically, robotics labs utilized this exact strategy in the physical world. Researchers would record people grabbing boxes and walking across rooms to teach physical robots how to navigate warehouses. Now, Meta is applying that exact playbook to software.
Right. And focusing purely on the data strategy here, the underlying goal makes complete sense. The most valuable asset for training a capable digital agent is unfiltered, high-quality, real-world workflow data.
Because synthetic data is just too clean.
Exactly.
Exactly.
The industry has realized that synthetic training environments do not reflect reality. Real developers make mistakes. They hit dead ends, they switch over to a chat app to ask a colleague a question, they search documentation, they rewrite their code.
Yeah, the process is messy.
It is very messy.
Yeah.
So capturing those exact sequences of problem-solving steps executed by top-tier developers allows Meta to map human productivity on a granular level. The models just get better simply by doing their daily work.
So Meta is capturing how human developers solve problems internally. But building on this theme of automating workflows, what happens when you need an AI to solve problems using external, highly sensitive corporate data?
That is where Google is making huge moves. They just released Deep Research and Deep Research Max.
These are the agents powered by Gemini 3.1 Pro, right, inside Notebook LM.
Yes, and they completely replace the previous preview version. The benchmarks are staggering. The Max version outperforms competing models like Opus 4.6 and GPT 5.4 in both retrieval and reasoning. It generates these comprehensive research reports, and it actually produces native charts and infographics embedded directly into the final document.
Wait, hold on. If Google's agent is aggressively scraping the open web and synthesizing external data to build these massive reports, I mean, I would not dare let it near my company's internal financials or proprietary code. How is this not a massive data leak waiting to happen?
Right, that is the immediate enterprise security concern. But Google addressed that directly through new integration features. Users have administrative control to entirely cut off external web access.
Oh, so you can just wall it off from the internet.
Exactly. When that access is severed, the agent operates in a closed loop, searching only the private files uploaded by the user. But the real breakthrough here is how it handles premium data. The system connects to something called a Model Context Protocol Server, or MCP.
Okay, so think of an MCP as like a secure VIP tunnel between Google's AI and Wall Street's private vaults.
That is a perfect analogy. Google is already partnering with major financial data firms like S&P, PitchBook, and FactSet to build these dedicated MCP servers.
So it pipes highly valuable, paid financial data directly into the user's private research workflow without ever exposing it to the public internet.
Yes, it takes the incredibly complex, research-heavy work that analysts and consultants typically spend 40 hours a week doing and turns it into a priced API call.
That is wild.
It is. A developer can now wire elite-level research automation into their own product, merging private corporate secrets with premium financial data safely.
Okay, zooming out from the big three tech giants, that kind of architectural shift is triggering a massive realignment across the entire tech industry. But there is a lot of rapid-fire news to cover here, so let us deliberately slow down our pace, take a slightly more measured approach, and really unpack these shifts without overwhelming you.
I agree. Taking a slower, more authoritative rhythm here is important. The technology sector is currently experiencing a wave of critical transitions. Let us look at the most significant developments you need to track, starting with leadership.
Right. Over at Snapple, Chief Executive Officer Tim Cook is officially stepping down on September 1st.
That marks the end of a monumental 15-year run at the helm.
It really does. He will hand the reins to the current Senior Vice President of Hardware Engineering, John Ternus. Cook successfully navigated Apple through the post-Steve Jobs era, fundamentally transforming their supply chain. He grew the company from a $350 billion valuation in 2011 to roughly $4 trillion today.
And in the artificial intelligence talent landscape, the consolidation is accelerating just as rapidly. Former OpenAI research vice president Jerry Twork has launched a new lab called Core Automation.
And their stated mission is fascinating. They are building an AI to build AI.
Exactly. The founding team is an absolute powerhouse, bringing together industry veterans from OpenAI, Anthropic, and DeepMind.
The talent wars are definitely escalating. Meta has poached 3 more employees from Mir Murati's new venture, the Thinking Machines Lab.
Which brings the total number of founding members who have departed Murati's lab for Meta up to 7.
Meta is clearly utilizing its massive capital advantage to aggressively consolidate top-tier engineering talent. It makes it extremely difficult for newer independent labs to retain their core teams.
Moving over to open source infrastructure, Google has released its design.md feature, which originated from Stitch.
This acts as a highly portable file that allows artificial intelligence agents to natively understand a project's specific design language,
Yeah.
correct?
Instead of prompting an AI every single time with your brand guidelines, this file ensures the model automatically adheres to your specific colors, accessibility requirements, and overarching brand rules.
Search infrastructure is also seeing rapid upgrades. Exa has officially released DeepMax, which is a new agentic search tool.
And unlike standard search engines that simply return a list of links, an agentic search tool actively navigates those links. It reads the content and synthesizes a direct answer. Exa claims DeepMax tops all existing rivals on accuracy, running 20 times faster than previous benchmark leaders.
We are also seeing a major paradigm shift in software generation. Genspark has launched a new tool called Build. It is powered by Claude Opus 4.7, and it operates as an agentic vibe coding tool.
And if you are wondering what vibe coding actually means, imagine you are hiring an interior decorator.
Right. You do not tell them exactly what size nails to use or where to buy the lumber. You just describe the aesthetic, the mood, and the function you want the vibe.
Exactly. And they build the room. Vibe coding does that exact thing for software. You describe the application and how you want the user to feel in plain text, and the AI handles all the complex back-end infrastructure to generate a fully functional application.
Finally, we have some very revealing data from the music streaming industry regarding the scale of synthetic media. Deezer reports a massive influx of artificial intelligence audio.
The platform is currently seeing 75,000 synthetic tracks published daily. That accounts for an astonishing 44% of all new uploads on their platform.
The infrastructure required to host 75,000 new tracks every single day is massive. But here's why that flood of content is not actually taking over the music industry. Despite making up nearly half of all new uploads, these synthetic tracks only draw between 1 and 3% of total streams.
So the economic return for the creators is negligible.
Exactly. And Deezer notes that 85% of these tracks are flagged as fraudulent, usually deployed by bot networks trying to generate fractions of a penny per stream.
All right, returning to a normal pace here, let us apply these broad industry shifts to your daily workflow. Moving from industry shifts to practical applications, here are the top trending AI tools you can integrate into your day right now.
First up is Relumi. You can use it to fix imperfect photo moments or revive old, degraded digital memories. It uses advanced restoration to sharpen and reconstruct the details perfectly.
Next is Inkfluence, which is a fantastic platform targeting creators. If you have a collection of notes, you can use it to generate complete ebooks, perfectly formatted PDF guides, or even full audiobooks in a matter of minutes.
PopTask is a really great one. It functions as a lightweight menu bar task manager. You can use it to instantly capture your to-do list items without ever breaking your current focus or opening a heavy application.
EasyScribe is perfect for content processing. You can use it to turn video and audio files into highly accurate transcripts, automatically generate multilingual subtitles, and provide concise summaries of meetings in minutes.
We also highly recommend ChatGPT Images 2.0, OpenAI's new model, which we discussed earlier. You can use it today for high-resolution, thoughtfully planned image generation that actually avoids structural errors.
Do not forget Deep Research Max, DeepMind's advanced agent, available within Notebook LM. You can leverage it to generate those massive deep dive reports complete with native charts, using those MCP server integrations to safely analyze private data.
And lastly, DeepMax is Exa's newly launched tool. You can use it when you need blazing fast, highly accurate agentic web search. It is perfect for deep retrieval tasks where you need an agent to synthesize multiple sources 20 times faster than standard queries.
Every development we cover today points toward a fundamental evolution in computing. The technology is no longer just focused on delivering a static output.
Yeah, whether it is an image model meticulously planning before it draws a single line, or a massive corporation capturing the exact keystrokes of its engineers, the ultimate prize is mastering the process itself.
Which is a huge shift.
It really is. And that raises a fascinating question for you to consider. If artificial intelligence is learning to perfectly mimic the human process, from researching like a seasoned art director to coding like a senior developer, what happens to the value of human intuition? As the actual execution of work becomes completely automated, the premium skill of the future will not be knowing how to do the work. The premium skill will be knowing which questions to ask the machine in the first place. Be sure to follow the podcast on your platform of choice and share this deep dive with someone who needs to stay updated on the rapidly changing landscape of artificial intelligence.
See you in the next episode.